All right, welcome to Witchpolice Radio. I'm here with a band that is not new to me, but new to the podcast. I know you've been around for a very long time, and I think that's kind of where I wanted to start with. There's four of you here. For people listening to the audio version, it's going to be kind of hard to tell who's speaking. So I think the best way to start this off is if the four of you want to introduce yourselves and then just give a bit of background about, first of all, what you do in the band and the band's history itself. Because, like I said, I've definitely seen the name Ash and the Arsonists for a long time, but I don't actually know what the history is and how long you've been a unit. So whoever wants to start off, who you are, what you do in the band, and then we can kind of get into some of the background.
Well, let's let the namesake go first. Ash, you go.
Oh, I go for it. No, I'll go for it. My name's Ash. I play guitar. I try to sing. I try to write, and yeah.
Who's next?
I'll go. So anyway, my name is Howard Manshine, and I'm currently higher than giraffe testicles. No, I'm sorry. My name is Matt Dara, actually, the first one and only, and I am the beat purveyor in Ash the Arsonist. I'm the drummer, and I'm here to expunge on that further and other things that we got going on right now as of late, et cetera, et cetera. On to the next guy.
Perfect. Who's next?
I guess I'll go. I'm Joe. I'm the new guy. I joined the band in July of 2023. I play guitar. Try to play guitar, at least as Ash said. Just rip the solos and try to keep the show going.
Cool. Oh, it looks like we lost your audio here.
Curry, your audio's out.
Sorry, that I had it muted before. Yeah, no, sorry. I'm Matt Curry. I'm the other Matt in the band. I play bass. I joined about 4 years ago when they were looking for a bass player. So that was obviously an awkward time to join, if you remember what was going on about 4 years ago. But it's been pretty good since. So.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. And then how long has this actually been a band? Because like I said, I've seen the name a lot. Just like show posters and things like that. And it's you've been around at least for a while now. So what is the kind of the history of this group?
I guess it started when I hate to start there, but it's when around the time when my mom passed. I was doing a lot of I don't know, just trying to figure stuff out, and I started writing songs and stuff, and I remember I entered a song. What do you call it? It was the NCI contest there, the singing contest. I entered that, and I just happened to place third there. That was a good boost there, and that helped me to gave me a little more confidence to want to go out and actually try sing. Before that, I was just in a bunch of cover bands and stuff, and none of the stuff was really working out. And then when I finally decided to change gears and try to write some music, my brother and my cousin at the time, they joined me, and they wanted to come along for the ride. And we were very lucky. It was very early on because we got on like festivals like the Street Fest there. Which one was it?
Sherbrooke.
It wasn't Sherbrooke. There's Romans thing there. Was it
The Osborne?
on Canada Day there?
The Osborne Street Festival?
There's still footage of that on
Wild-
YouTube, the Wild Planet one.
Yeah, the Wild Planet one. Yeah, we got lucky that I kept harassing Roman to let us come play on there, and he kept because he knew I wasn't from Winnipeg. He kept saying, "He's like, are you sure you're going to make it the day of?" I was like, "Yes, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it." So we got lucky there, and then over time I had relatives in the band. When I moved out here, though, my brother and my cousin had a hard time, trying to keep it going because they lived out of town. So eventually I just kept going and going, and then my cousins just said, it was like, I give you my blessing. It's like, you should just keep going. And so I did. And and now we're here.
Cool. Just to go back to what you said right at the beginning there about the NCI song contest. I mean, listening to what your band sounds like now, and then what I kind of associate with NCI's sort of musical tastes, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily put those two things together. So did you have, a country background at all, or is this, have you always been like a rock guy?
I'm from the res. I couldn't avoid it. even
Right.
if I tried. We're I grew up like back home, with my parents' music and stuff, and country music was always around us all the time. But I guess it did have an effect on me, but it wasn't really something that I really want to listen to.
Sure.
Like I was so attracted to like at the time when I was growing up, like Metallica and Nirvana and all that stuff. That stuff made me super excited. I love the noise. I remember stumbling on Smashing Pumpkins. They're so weird. I was like, what is that? An alien? And I just thought they were so cool. That just they were so unique, and the whole sound and everything was so different from where I grew up from. And I was
Sure.
just attracted to it so much. Yeah.
Well, maybe that leads into a question for any of you. Really, is just everyone hates this question, but how do you define the type of music you guys play? Because I mean, in listening to it, I mean, obviously you're a rock band, but there's alt rock elements, there's heavier stuff. Where do you sort of place yourselves? I guess on a spectrum of rock subgenres.
I would
think
put
there's-
us in the in more in the hard rock category, especially some of the songs that aren't released yet or haven't been recorded. There's a couple that are very, very heavy.
Okay.
But there's also the newer ones that we've been working on recently that are more of that alternative rock style that you would hear similar to our previous release songs that are just more in that genre, that subgenre, I guess, of rock and roll. But I would primarily list us as a hard rock band.
Okay. Do the rest of you agree? Is that sort of where you'd place the band?
Yeah, I was about to just make an interjection on that. I would place it. It's just sort of a curious thing that you can clearly see all the influences that Ash noticed. Well, Ash put across,
Yeah,
and noted that comes through, but at the same time, it's like an intersection is weird between like sort of 2000s ish. Like it sounds a little like from back then, but at the same time, It sounds like right now. It's
I'm
modern.
the oldest one in the band. So, yeah.
Was that?
Sorry to cut you off. I said I'm the oldest one in the band, so yeah.
And I'm the youngest. So there you go.
So you have I guess you have a wide range then of stuff, right? I mean, because you got the '90s stuff, you got the 2000s stuff. I mean, you mentioned Metallica earlier, and that's a band that's been around for decades now. So I guess you're just kind of like the whole spectrum of that heavy hard rock, alt rock, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, just a big old potpourri, and we're just trying to make our own unique sound out of it, and I think it's working. We got some old commercial elements to it, but we can get heavy. There's all kind of stuff. We're just working on developing our sound, and especially with this guy you got over here on the right-hand side, we're kicking it up a whole notch and getting into things that are a lot more sophisticated as a result.
Cool.
Hey, how come you can see everybody? I can't see everybody on this thing.
Well, see, that's the problem, right? Is when you say right-hand side, I have no idea who's on your right-hand side.
Okay,
all of our
I'm
screens-
talking about Joe. We're talking about Joe. That's who we mean.
When they brought me in, they could bring in because my whole background as a guitar player is I grew up loving the 80s.
Okay.
The band when Ash brought me in was because he didn't want to do the solos anymore, didn't want to be playing the leads, and they brought me in to do that. And in turn, I've brought my influences, which is all throughout the 80s, of the super shredders of the 80s. So George Lynch, Paul Gilbert, bringing in Van Halen styles. As you can see, I've got all the Van Halen gear beside me, which I've went a little crazy with. But bringing in the shred style solos has really, I think, progressed our sound a little bit and made it so we're bringing back the flavors from the 80s and the 90s. And we're bringing back that guitar-centric, guitar-driven music.
Yeah. Well, that's a good
new.
That's a good point, though, the guitar-driven music, because I think a lot of bands. I mean, I can't think of the last time I heard something that was recent by a mainstream band that had a guitar solo, right? I mean, it seems like that guitar music sound has been disappearing. I mean, obviously, underground bands there's guitar solos left and right, but in the mainstream, that whole idea of the guitar being sort of the driving force it seems to be slipping, which is kind of too bad. As someone who also grew up on a lot of these bands that we've been talking about, it's weird actually to turn on the radio now and it's like verse, chorus, verse, over. They're missing like a key element
TikTok portions.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, and that maybe brings up a question though: is how do you? I mean, how do you promote yourselves as a band in this day and age? Because we're in an era now where you basically have to be your own, not only the creative part of things, but you have to do the marketing, you have to do the social media, all of that stuff. How does that work for you guys in this weird universe we're in?
Okay, well, I'll take this question because I do a lot of the social media and the content here. I mean, let's take it back to just after I just joined the band and then Curry just joined the band. So we're talking like 2019, 20. COVID hits. So we were in a band called Twang Bomb, me and him
Okay.
at the same time. And I just joined Ash the Arsonists. And I was in a cover band with Boisterous with Ash as well. So I had that rolling, and then all of a sudden, okay, everything shuts down. Now what are we going to do? Well, so I'm sitting here like, okay, I can either sit here and languish, and I know many people that were just sitting around like in the music community that were just like, okay, they just didn't feel motivated because they just had everything taken from them.
Yeah.
Or I could just make something of this. I hopped on Instagram because I was already doing music reviews and just started doing like a whole bunch of little short clip drum covers, like TikTok size little drum clips per week. And what that graduated into from there, besides, graduating from Instagram into Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, all this stuff, I put something together called Collabo Season, which has involved everybody that you see here in this band in various capacities as a band and just in various episodes. I've reached out to people in the United States, in Spain, in Colombia, just people all across the Winnipeg music scene. If you look at my YouTube channel, it's there. So I made a cottage industry out of online content because for a couple of years, of course, that's all I had. And it's still continuing. But for right now, like we're able to get back and play live. So this circles back to what are we doing with ourselves and the Arsonists. As I was learning the tricks of the trade and figuring these things out, I was just showing some of these things to Ash and saying, well, okay, look, we gotta do this. We gotta get on TikTok. We gotta do X, Y, and Z to really enhance a profile here. I was just pushing that along to him and just, he was asking questions and, just trying to move things along and whatever, and just taking notes. And I think our main thing is
begrudgingly, I say, because you were the one who got me to get the TikTok. I didn't want to get the TikTok.
It's so important, though. That's the thing.
I know.
Just
it is. Okay.
So just basically like any other band, just putting your clips up there, little content, little features. Like we did something over Christmas, just doing the Silent Night video.
Yeah.
Just something a little fun or whatever. And we also did a Avenged Sevenfold cover with some of the guys from Plain as Ghosts. Like it's stuff like that. So just like we're doing with our own music stuff, trying to make it ours, is that we're trying to keep up with what you need to do online with all this stuff, but also be creative and be fun and add our own quirks and personality into it. And I think that will hopefully give us a lot of success for the foreseeable future.
Well, I think you're right in that's one of the ways you can make yourselves stand out, right? Because everyone is online, everyone's pumping constant music at you like 24/7, and the amount of stuff out there, it is fantastic, but it also makes it harder to find the really good stuff because you're kind of inundated. But yeah, if you have like a creative way of keeping your name out there and then keeping your face out there and everything, that's a good way to do it. I just wanted to kind of switch to, we're talking about the pandemic. Now shows are happening again. Hopefully that stays the case for a while.
Yes.
You have some stuff coming up, and I think maybe this is a very awkward segue into talking about that. I mean, I know you have new music coming out very soon and some big shows, so maybe let's just start with you have a single that's dropping shortly.
Yes, we just announced. Yes, we just announced it today. It's called Bleed. It was recorded at Bedside Studios along with some other stuff that we've been working on. It's going to be out on February 23rd. We're playing Festival du Voyageur on February 22nd at the Snow Tent, 6:30, Tent du Neige. Come on down. So you're going to hear that live and some of the other stuff we've been working on. And then that comes out the next day. And there will be a music video, which we will be shooting shortly. More to come about that later. So that's what's up. If anyone else wants to elaborate, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's also my my debut with the band. My recording debut with the band will be on Bleed.
Right on.
It was super cool to come in and be as welcomed into the band as I have been. It's the transition from not playing live, not doing much with my music, and to come in with Ash and for them to just embrace myself and my playing, and it's been a wild transition. And the song that we're releasing, Bleed, was one of the first tracks that Ash sent me for when I was doing my audition to come in, and it's one of those songs that once you hear it, you have to listen to it again. And the way that we've progressed the song and added things to it in the final recording, I do think that this is going to be at least, if not our chance at a hit, I think it's definitely up there for it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is this a lead into a larger project? I mean, are you working on an EP or an album or something like that for the near future?
Yeah, EP. So we're planning to put out. So like we already have 3 songs out. This will be our 4th, and then we may or may not. I'm not going to say or confirm or deny. Might have another one coming soon after that. And so 5 tracks. There you go. That's enough for an EP. So we plan to put out an EP this spring, like in April or something, and then we're attempting to set up an EP release show sometime in May. So we got that coming, and whatever we do after that will be what we do. But that much is for sure happening.
Well, maybe a question for some of you who've been around in the band for a while. Now that you have this lineup, that hopefully this is your solidified lineup for the next little while, right? How has the sound changed? I mean, listening to these recordings, listening to this new song that's coming out, how has that sort of changed to you? This is really for any of you, from the previous stuff that the band did. I mean, when you hear this, what do you think about it? What do you feel about it?
Curry, go ahead.
How has the sound changed?
Well, yeah, I mean, what kind of vibe do you get off it, right? I mean, the sound changed, obviously. We kind of mentioned earlier that whole having that 80s guitar influence, that's going to do a lot to the sound. But, having obviously heard the band prior to this, how do you think it's progressed or matured or whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, I guess maybe it's become a bit more diverse in like music taste, because like I feel like we're all coming from kind of different sort of directions, and so we all got a little bit different things to contribute. So yeah, like I think we kind of
the new song we're talking. You tell them about the new song we've been demoing. That's a big difference from
the brand new one. It's like a whole different direction. Even like kind of I could definitely hear Joe's influence in that one, kind of a bit more of the throwback to a kind of a 80s kind of sound with that. Yeah.
We're joking about because we're doing, was it the guitar, what do you call it, the guitar? Yeah. We were talking about, like, me and Curry were talking about how it was like, oh yeah, it should be guitar day or whatever, and Curry's like, it feels like every day is guitar day with you guys.
So that's another one.
And there's like 50 guitars in the basement. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to ask. What is this guitar event? Because I did see when you messaged me about doing this podcast, you mentioned something about a guitar event happening.
Yeah, so that's something else. That's one that I set up. So I have an event at the Osborne Tap House on March 30th. We had a great tap house show last year, and we played the Manitoba Wild Music Awards. But we're going to kick it up a notch, first with Festival and then with this. So I came up with the idea of putting together 3 of the best shredders, in my opinion, in Winnipeg, and putting them all on the same stage and just letting it rip and having it be a guitar focused night. And you definitely pack people in. So it's us with Joe, and it's going to be On the Fly, which I'm also in with Jamie Denor, who is also in Eternal Now before that.
Okay.
And then who else? Oh yeah, Ronnie Ladderbrook and the Electric. Yes, Mr. Ronnie Ladderbrook is going to be on there. The Electric haven't played a show in a while, but they're going to play for this one. We got that rolling, and Joe and Jamie and Ronnie and I are going to be meeting up sometime soon, a little later, to work on another surprise that we got for the end of the show. But I promise you, this is going to be very good. March 30th at the Osborne Tap House. We ain't got tickets available yet, but if we do get them,
I can guarantee you that the thing that we're planning for the end of Guitar Night will probably be the most notes at a show you will hear in a song, because between me, Jamie, and Ronnie, it's an insane lineup, and I'm honored to be in that group of people. As Ronnie Ladderbrook, when I was coming up in my career, was one of my favorite people to sit and watch play.
Yeah.
And now to be able to play with him is going to be really cool. And same with Jamie.
Yeah.
and he said the same thing about you, Joe, when you joined the band. He sent you messages vouching for you, like, man, Joe's just like, he's one of the best in the city. I've just been blown away, all this stuff. So,
well, I was going to say, I mean, I've seen Ronnie play. I've had him on my show a few times too. I think he's coming back on soon, actually. But I mean, that guy was ridiculous. Like the shredding is absolutely ridiculous. And so, do you think that there's like a kind of a desire for this kind of stuff in Winnipeg at the moment? Like, there's an audience that wants to see just like over the top ridiculous shredding?
I think that this city, and me and Ronnie had a conversation about this a few years ago, that Winnipeg is going to be the next music scene in the world. So you've got Toronto, you've got Nashville. Winnipeg is on its way up. There's this huge market for guitar players in this province, and I believe that it really showcases the talent that is in this city and is in this province as a whole. And as you said earlier, when you turn on the radio, you don't really hear the big guitar solo anymore. I think that's going to come back, and it's going to be a band from Winnipeg that's going to do that, because there's so many amazing guitar players in this province. And you know what? This band has two of them. Ash is just as good.
And shout out to Riley
He's
Saunders.
being kind.
And shout out to Riley Saunders for for all the promotion of Winnipeg and the Winnipeg scene. My guy, thank you for putting us on Festival and everything you've done so far. Keep up the good work. I just thought I would interject that from what you said. That's all.
Is that the connection of how you got Festival?
Yeah, he reached out to me because he said our last single Contender, right around Halloween when we put out this A7X cover, because it's like, man, A7X is my second favorite band. I love this, and I love the Contender thing you've been doing, like genuinely. Would you? I'm putting together this Village Idiots Festival du Voyageur show. You want to be on it? I'm like, obviously I do. Let me check with everyone else. Yes, 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 and yes. So there we go. Once again, February 22nd at the Snow Tent, 6:30 p.m. And our new single Bleed comes out the next day. Don't miss either one.
I like how you're plugging the show, because usually I have to ask people to remind the listeners of the details. But you got this locked down.
He's like our Don King in the band. So
you need more hair. You need a bigger hair. Yeah, but so if people are hearing about you for the first time on this podcast, what's the best way for them to sort of get initiated into what you do? I assume seeing you live would be sort of the ideal, but if you want to send them somewhere online to listen to your music or find out about upcoming shows, where should they go?
Facebook page. I think the Facebook page is the main center of operations. We also have, so that's Facebook/Ash and the Arsonists. We also have the Instagram at Arsonist204, Twitter at Arsonist204, TikTok at Ash and the Arsonists. Just look up Ash and the Arsonists on YouTube or Spotify, et cetera, et cetera. Like I said, we're just trying to expand our presence, but if you're going to go anywhere, go to Facebook, because that's the main place that we're posting our stuff.
Awesome. And then, obviously this being a podcast, someone could hear it the day it comes out, or they could hear it 2 years from now, and by then, who knows what you guys are up to. The Facebook will be the place to find all the show listings and that kind of stuff going forward.
Everywhere. I mean, Facebook is where you can post the events.
Of course.
We always make sure to put that all over our socials, whatever we're doing, just so everybody can see it.
Yeah,
that is one thing we do take very serious.
We've been trying to usually weekly we'll have our band practice, but it also turns into a little bit of a band meeting where we kind of plan out our little short-term goals, I'll say.
Okay.
Planning out our, what we want to do for the week, like trying to keep up with social media. Matt's good at keeping an eye on us to keep up with the socials. I think I'm the one in the band who, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with social media, but I try to keep up for the sake of the band. I try to keep up with it.
Right on.